Welcome everyone, today we have 10 crazy new glitches in Super Mario Maker 2. Today we go over a pretty interesting glitch where you can clip through a block and get a fire flower from underneath. We go over some really interesting glitchy snake blocks using a black hole. We go over a crazy 6.5 screen high super jump. We also go over a new method of creating off-grid items, this time without a black hole. Without further ado, let's dive in. Let's say Mario finds himself in this interesting little situation where he is stuck between these two rows of sideways springs. Is he going to be able to get out of this little corridor? Let's find out. So you're going to notice that it is possible for Mario to jump off of these sideways springs, but it is very, very difficult to make that a consistent thing. So essentially, Mario is stuck in this little zone right here, unless you are Cat Mario. For some reason, as Cat Mario, if you scratch consistently, if you spam the scratch button, you will actually be able to climb this quite easily. Check this out. Why does it work like this? Nobody knows. Here's a neat little situation. Right now we have frozen coins to our right and a door on the other side. So assuming we have to get through these frozen coins, but we do not have a fire flower. We are Big Mario with a Shellmet on. Now these two blocks, one has a coin and one has a fire flower like that. How would we actually go about getting that fire flower without anything stomping on top of it, allowing us to get the fire flower from below? You'd be very surprised to find out that if we are Star Mario, we can actually get that flower. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this star, hit the first block, then the second one. We will clip through the second block a little bit, and that will give us the fire flower, allowing us to proceed with the level. Here we have a little situation where after I hit this on-off switch, this red block right here is going to turn into a dotted line nothingness. These 1-ups are going to be able to escape this little prison. The conveyor belt is pushing the launchers over to the right. Every time this note block gets hit, it will push the launcher, each one of these, into this muncher. So let's say we don't have a cannon on the right side of this muncher. Right now, they're going to merge inside of the muncher and kind of just sit there, which is interesting. So let's hit the on-off switch and see it all in action. Launchers go inside of the muncher. They clip into the muncher, which is kind of interesting. Let's do something different. Let's take a launcher and put it on the other side of a muncher and see what happens. And wouldn't you know it, this muncher is actually going to get pushed through this one way and escape their deadly little prison. So let's go ahead and hit this on-off switch. For some reason, because that launcher was touching the muncher, it pushes the muncher through the one way, and it will even push the other launchers through as well. Now we are going to mess around with a black hole and snake blocks to create some very glitchy effects. So check this out. First, we're going to place down a snake block. These steps are very similar to GGT in the way that we are going to copy the snake block like that, delete it, and then copy it over into the black hole, and then undo twice. Now, I multi-grab the black hole and pull that out of there. I'm going to delete the original snake block and then pull this snake block out of there. You notice something really funky go on with this snake block. The block, or the path where it's going to be, is all the way over to the right. And every time we take the snake block and move it around, it replaces this little square right here. So if I take this one and move it, it's going to pull that square away and put it into the bottom one. So this is very, very glitchy. Now, without really manipulating these snake blocks too much, you're going to see that one of these blocks inside of the snake block is going to disappear when we jump on them. So when we jump on the snake block right here, the middle block is going to disappear for some reason, which is interesting. And this one right here is going to travel all the way over to where the other one was, even though it has no path. The middle block, it disappears out of that one as well. We're going to play around with the snake block one more time to interesting effect. Let's make a short one. We're going to expand this path a little bit. So let's take it over here like that. Again, we copy this, delete, copy it over here, and undo twice. Move this black hole away, delete the original, and then move this out of here. You're going to see the path still moves along with the other one. Apparently these two snake blocks are connected. They must be the same snake block for some reason. I'm going to extend this a little bit and then move this one over here. So when I jump on this snake block, it's actually going to travel where the other path is. So let's say I move this over here. This snake block is going to travel all the way over here and then follow this path and going around in a circle. Which is pretty interesting. This one will do the same thing. When I move this, it will just find its way over to that pathway and then continue along. So it will go to the right until it finds the path, and then it will go up to the path and then complete its journey. Both of these happenings is very, very glitchy. In order for me to move this one, I have to actually move this one first. So this is all very, very strange. Snake blocks and black holes, they do not mix. So with this little glitch, for some reason, this left POW, the first POW, is going to be a little bit higher than all of the other POWs. For no real reason other than maybe because it's against this wall. I'm not really sure. These three sink down a little bit because these cannons fall down a little bit, and these one-ways will push these three, but this first one, they won't. So it's a very small difference, but it's a difference nonetheless. Why would this POW be any different than the other ones? Now we're going to go over two different semi-solid clips involving this clown car right here. One is going to be when we are Big Mario, one's going to be when we are Small Mario. I believe the first one is very well known. The second one I have not seen yet, so this one's going to be pretty cool. So I am going to duck jump into that little gap right here, and we're just going to hop along. You'll notice that we go right into the clown car and it pushes us down, and all I have to really do is just spin jump, and I will clip right through that semi-solid, allowing me to go on to victory. In order to do this when you are Small Mario, we just have to put hidden blocks above this clown car, and now the same thing will pretty much happen. So now there are hidden blocks, Kaiser blocks, above that clown car. When we hop into this clown car, we are going to hit those hidden blocks. It's going to stuff us underneath that semi-solid, allowing us to get through and on to victory. So in Desert Night Theme in NSMBU, the wind will be consistently flowing to the right. Using a ground pound, we can actually ground pound it near an edge and then do a double jump as the wind pushes us off the edge. Now, if you do it too close to the edge, we will actually do a double ground pound, which is cool, but it's not what we want right here. What we want to do is get to a point where he is getting out of his ground pound state as he falls off the edge. So he is still ducking, and then we will be able to jump up afterwards. Like that. So notice how we did a double jump. We jumped after we fell off of the edge. We performed a super jump like this in a recent video using the Ice Night theme, so everything is slippery. This time we're using the Sky Night theme where it is low gravity. We're using this clown car and a sideways facing thwomp. The thwomp is going to fly at us. We're going to hold it down and jump, and it's going to smush us into this conveyor belt, and well, you're going to see the tallest super jump you've ever seen. Let's start the scene. So you keep on going upwards the entire time, which is kind of crazy. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6.5 screens high that you get boosted. Pretty damn crazy. Here we have another fairly interesting wall clip scenario. We've clipped through walls and blasters and stuff like that using dry bone shells on rails with this big mushroom. This is something that's pretty similar. So I'm going to take this out of here so you can see what it is. Well, it's a big mushroom on a rail. Also, there is a one-way on the other side of this door, which is pretty important. And this semi-solid is important as well. And there's also a P-switch in this note block. So let's undo twice so we have the setup correct. And I don't really have to do much after I exit the door. I can just kind of sit there. Check this out. So the P-switch keeps me in a duck state. The shell gets pushed into my feet and it pushes me right through the wall. Finally, we're going to go over a method to create off-grid items and enemies without using a black hole. So we don't need to create a black hole in order to make this happen. All we have to do is draw a normal track like that, delete it. We're going to draw a diagonal track and turn it into a curved track. Then I grab a claw, put it on that sucker, throw a hammer bro into that claw and turn him big. Start, stop the scene. I'm going to undo until that hammer bro on that claw goes back into the original track, the first track that we drew. So now that we have the first track here. The most interesting item that I found is this frozen coin. Everything else pretty much retains its properties, although it's in the middle of 4 blocks. So we're going to take this frozen coin and put it on this rail like this. We delete that and then we undo. Now I multi-select this curved rail and pull that out of there. You'll see that the coin goes onto the curved rail like that. I start and then stop the scene, and now I can undraw this rail and we have a frozen coin that's off the grid. And so this frozen coin that's off the grid is pretty interesting because, similar to the other off-grid items, it is a little bit visually glitched. The block is actually 1 block over and right, like that when we start the scene. So it's in the middle of these 4 blocks right now, but when we start the scene, it goes over to where the blue square is. However, with this frozen coin, we can actually turn it into a normal coin like that. When we grab it, we just have a floating coin that we cannot grab anymore. So this is one of the more interesting ones. I've tested the other ones and nothing really crazy happened. This one's quite cool though. I like this one. I like this one a lot. Yep, a floating coin that we cannot grab.